Today's project is the boxing and setup of the Eufy security doorbell. So we have the Eufy cams down at one of our properties and really like them. They work well. They're not too expensive. They're kind of flying under the radar a little bit, but really nice product. This is a 2K resolution doorbell. And I'm anxious to see how this works and sets up. You've got the outside doorbell unit with camera, and this is the inside wireless receiver and Wi-Fi interface. So it'll connect to your home Wi-Fi. There's a 16 gig card in the side here that came with it that you can pull out if you need to. There's a sync button here on the top to sync to the unit. Some instruction manuals that I'll probably never look at. This is your standard power adapter. They set these up like this so they can send it to any country. So no matter where you're at, you'll get the right one for your country, and this will be the same no matter where they have it. So that just pops in and twists into place. There we go, all locked in. And this is the template guide for mounting to your wall, and then that will snap onto that when you have it in place. There's a release pin somewhere. Oh, there it is. There's a little release button on the bottom. So when you need to remove the doorbell unit, you'll push the little release pin in there, and it looks like it's the same as a SIM card type. No, it's a little bit bigger. Here it is. A little release tab, so you push that in, and that'll release the bottom so that this will pop open. And then this piece is a little offset, so if you need to offset your doorbell and mount it at an angle on the wall, like so, that is what you would use to give yourself a little bit of angle into the door. And then along with that, we've got micro USB. There we go. So there is a recharging port right on the bottom there. That pries open, and then you can use micro USB cable to charge, and that'll go into any USB powered outlet. So you'll charge that. They report that they have like 180-day battery usage, and I can confirm that these Eufys do last a really long time. The set we have on our property is about 12 hours away, and we charge it twice a year. And we don't even have to charge it, it's just lasts that long. We just want to make sure that it doesn't die while we're away. So we've got some screws, some terminals. I'm not sure what this is for. I'll bet you this wires into the existing doorbell. So input 1 is 24 volts from the existing doorbell. So you can wire and replace the existing doorbell with this. That's kind of neat, and that's what these are for. So these terminals will go underneath those screws, and then you just terminate that in with these little twisty knobs into the existing doorbell wiring, and you can receive your 24 volt 0.2 amp power from the doorbell. So I need to decide, I'll take this outside and decide whether I'm going to replace my existing doorbell with this or just simply add it to the side like I planned. Okay, we've got power to this. It's flashing, and then we've got our Eufy, and there's a sync button on both of these, so I'm going to push the two sync buttons, assuming that's how they sync together. And let's see if we can figure out how to connect to this.
Welcome to Eufy Security. Follow the instructions in Eufy Security app to set up the system.
Looks like it's talking to us. Okay, here we are in the Eufy Security app. I'm going to go to my devices. I'm going to add a device, and we're going to do a Wi-Fi doorbell chime. Access the camera. Okay. Assuming it's looking for QR code. Next, install the power to the chime. Rotate the antenna to the angle shown above. Plug it into a power socket. Yes. Next, connect your phone to the same Wi-Fi that the device needs to connect to. Looks like it's going to connect through Bluetooth. Press the sync button for 2 seconds until the LED blinks green. 1, 2.
Wi-Fi doorbell chime is ready for setup.
Next, okay, and it's found my Wi-Fi. Stick the password in. Confirm.
Testing Wi-Fi connection. Wi-Fi doorbell chime has connected to Wi-Fi successfully.
Not sure what it's doing at this point. My guess is communicating with the internet, and it's adding the device.
Wi-Fi doorbell chime was added successfully.
Give your device a name. We're going to go with front door. And there is an update for it. So we're going to do an update. Let it download the newest update. The update is complete. Testing the connection to the doorbell. And it's a nice solid connection. If you have doorbells, you can add them now. I'm guessing that should say if you have additional doorbells, you can add them now. You can hit finish, and there is the front door. Door is connected, but there's nothing paired to it, which I'm assuming that I need to pair this to that device. So we're going to go back to the sync button on this, which is right down here, and we're going to sync that up. So we need to add a device. My device is add battery doorbell, and it needs the new home base, so we're going to choose the front door.
Press the sync button until you hear the beep. Ready to add device. Device was added successfully.
And there we go. Yes, and I want to use the doorbell constantly. And it gives me what type of chime do I have. So I have a mechanical. Verify the doorbell wires are working. They are installed. I have a nice little quick start guide that's playing. Okay, so the new doorbell is set up. I also have my existing cameras off the home base on the other property, but we're going to play here and see what it looks like. And there we go. Let's take this outside and see how it looks. So here we are at the front door, and I'm ready to start working on this part of it. I have got the camera working. Looks like I'm going to want to use the angle piece, because if I put it straight, wait for the video to catch up there, I've got a good view of the block wall. If I turn it in, then the angle on that will be a little bit better. Alright, so we're going to pull off the existing doorbell. I found the transformer in the basement, so I can disconnect that. Probably should disconnect it first. So we've got a pretty tight connection there. It does look like we're going to have room for the wire nuts that were included. Here's the existing doorbell wires. There's one attached to each side of that. So now I need to go down and shut off power to the doorbell transformer, and then I can replace this. Now at some point you can see this doorbell button was replaced. You can see where the old frame of whatever doorbell was there used to be. But now we're just going to mount this in its place. That'll go over the hole in place of this, and then the new doorbell will snap into that. Alright, I've got power shut off. Now I can work on wiring in the doorbell. I'm going to remove the old tape here and screw the old doorbell lines. There's no power coming from the transformer, but I'm still going to treat them as if they're hot. A little wiring kit that comes with the doorbell here. Bit of excessive wire. I'm going to trim that off. Check both of these to make sure they're snug. They are. So that one was good. And always good to add some electrical tape, not just to ensure that no straight current gets through, but also to make sure that that doesn't come loose. My grandfather once told me that wire nuts will vibrate loose over the years, so that's what the electrical tape is for, is to tie those on and make sure they stay put. They are now snug and tight. And as noted, I do need to use my offset, so I'm going to put that on and running the wires through there. And I did have some space for my wire nuts to tuck into. Now all that's left is to screw that down, and then we can snap on our doorbell. I don't think the screws that came with it will work, since they are not sheet metal, they're made for wood. So I'm going to need to do something different as far as the mounting screws go, and possibly do a pilot hole for those. Original screws, although kind of small, looks like they will hold the doorbell. They're right on the borderline edge of not doing that though. So I'm going to try and find something better, different. Okay, before I make another trip to the hardware store, I'm going to see if I can use a drill bit and pre-drill, and then use the original screws that came with this. Even though they're wood screws, this isn't very thick metal. Seems to be just bent flashing. So I think if I just get a pilot hole there, that'll sink in just fine. Alright, so I'm going to use the template just to make sure I get it perfectly square and holes are well lined up. I don't know why they didn't have that cut out previously, but I added the cutout for it. Stick this up here. Now I can wire this in. I think we're going to need to wire those from the other direction because those wires are hitting. So top down. Again, that's AC voltage, so it doesn't matter which wire goes where. There, that was snug. There. That's working better. Now the base station currently doesn't have power because the base station feeds off of the same electrical circuit that the doorbell transformer did. So I'm going to go down, turn that back on, and we'll let that boot up and then we'll give it a try. So we are all installed now. I did test this out and it actually rings the original doorbell, which is nice. I bought this model which has the battery system in it, thinking that I wouldn't be able to use it with my existing doorbell, and then decided to anyways. And I'm happy I did because it does ring the original doorbell and it does ring the base station as well. And then we can watch it on the phone app and communicate it with that way. Then on the app on the phone, if we open that up here, it will bring up the main interface for the Eufy camera. And I've got several cameras on here, but we're just going over the doorbell. So if you click on play on the doorbell, you can actually see a live feed of what's going on at that moment outside. Right now it's nighttime and raining, so it's kind of a dark picture, but then the night vision, it works pretty well. You can click on the alerts button there and view any kind of alerts and see, for example, what was going on during the daytime. And here is me coming home around noon today, and you can see the video is quite clear and easily tell who's there. It is two-way audio. You can talk with the person that is there and interface with them. You can scroll through the dates at the top there or pick any calendar date to see previous footage and play any previous footage. Here's one from a couple of days ago, and that all works quite well. You can go back to any point you want. And then going into the editing part of it, if you click on the gearbox there by the doorbell, you can go through and change the name of it. You'll notice that this one is plugged in, showing a little plug-in symbol because I'm getting power from the doorbell transformer, so I never have to charge this one, which is great. You can change your motion detection zone. It will actually detect for humans or any motion. So if you have a cat walk through the frame, it'll record that. But if you have it set to humans only, it will try to only record and notify you when there's a human in the screen. Then if we tap on activity zone, we can actually go through and set an activity zone for only detecting in that zone. In my case, I set it up so that it doesn't detect the road, which is just out of view over top of that blue segment there, and you can control what the segment is. And I've set it so it's just below the road, so cars passing down the road aren't tripping the camera all the time. So it's going to be anybody that actually hits that sidewalk. You can also adjust things like the streaming controls for video quality. You can adjust for other things like the indoor chime and what you want it to sound like, whether it's going to ring the existing doorbell. All that's features that you can add. You can change the ring volume. There's some alert tones for the Eufy doorbell. There's not a whole lot there, but it does give you a couple of options for changing things. And there's some quick responses that you can in. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward and works pretty well. And my overall opinion with the Eufy is I would highly recommend it.